Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Celestia Radio's Canterlot Cross-Fade. Get your bodies ready, ponies, it's time for the most profane, unadulterated, uncensored 2 hours your mind can fucking handle. Just two dudes talking news, events, music, and what the fuck ever else we can think of. Canterlot Cross-Fade, starting right now on Celestia Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back again for episode 7. I am one of your two fantastic hosts. At least I hope we're fantastic in your mind's eye. But I'm DJK, of course, joined with my faithful co-host and the owner of Celestia Radio, Shamrock. How you been today, man?
Oh man, I've been great. You know, we got some of the first snow here in the wonderful area of Lenexa, Kansas, up here in Kansas City, and it's just going fucking great. Having a fantastic time. Been out around the town today, so I'm in, ready for the winter. Bring it on. Let's go.
I'm surprised you actually got snow. I've already... let me look out my window really quick for the official DJK weather report. According to the window... Oh, it's still light out, surprisingly. It's like 3.5 feet.
Nice. Yeah, we got like, a quarter of an inch.
Nice. You're catching up.
Just the basic differences between, I was actually headed to Lawrence today to run some errands. I know, like 30 minutes away, right? And saw some, had all these people saying, oh shit, snow is coming, winter is unfolding before us, there's going to be ice and all this shit. I get out there and there's fucking like nothing. I'm like, God, Jesus Christ. Fucking didn't even... There was nothing. It didn't even happen. So we're very much easing into winter here, but usually that means we'll have 6 feet of snow in like May. So who knows?
Yep, you never do. It's the same way with people in Denver. They live in Colorado. Most of them lived in Colorado for the majority of their lives, and they still freak out when it gets cold or when it snows. It's beyond me why they do, but, we could talk about weather endlessly. And, of course, we do have our weather report, but that's an hour away from now. So that's a good little segue into giving you guys a brief outline of CCF. Of course, this is a one-topic show that we're going to cover our one topic throughout the show. A couple commercial breaks, couple new music breaks, and new speed show at the top of the hour along with the weather report. Hopefully by now you know the gist of it. Shamrock, what are we looking at for the topic, though?
All right, well, today, of course, we've had our series that we've talked on, Celestia Radio history. We've had 2 parts. We thought at first 2 parts was going to be good, and then we thought, no, it's going to be 3. And then we thought, no, we could do it in 2, and then here we are, part 3.
Once again.
CR history. It's all right. We're going to be covering briefly here in the intro. We'll talk a little bit about the media empires, and then we'll go on, and for the remainder of the show, we'll just talk about this summer's convention scene and basically what to look forward to for Celestia Radio in the coming months and looking into the new year, 2014. Been a wonderful 2.5 years of Celestia Radio. Looking for, who knows, 2.5 more. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, we can make it 5. We can make it 10. We'll go
Hell
forever.
Yeah.
Who fucking knows? We'll turn into Beardo Radio, as the running joke was back when, what's her fucking face pretended like she liked us.
Danny?
Joanna.
Oh, yeah, Dashy. Lol.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, that was a fun... If you don't know, one time we talked about making another non-pony radio station back in the day, and that made it about 2 hours into planning before. We were like, it took us 2.5 years to get to this point. Let's ride this out a little bit longer before we plan the next station, which I'm going to say has probably been the good call in the long run.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sham.
Yeah.
Have you, I finally got caught up on the episodes. I watched the last week's Castlemania and yesterday's back-to-back yesterday because I neglected to watch Castlemania. I enjoyed them. Already liking Season 4 a good amount. Have you watched them yet yourself?
I certainly did. I actually caught the I caught the leak of episode 3 when it was released, practically an entire week before it came out. And I certainly saw the episode yesterday. I actually got up early to watch it. And though I was glad to not be doing the show, I was just nice and relaxed watching it, and it was good. It was definitely what I would expect kind of out of a Rainbow Dash episode. And they seem to have a kind of a feeling for her eps, and it's good. I thought it revealed some cool history, or at least sort of character stuff for the show, and definitely delved way more into her personality, as we can see how she was just idol obsessed, and which is a side of her we really haven't seen before. Aside from when she's looking at the Wonderbolts, but this was different because it was like a singular person that she was focused on. So it was very interesting, and people talking about Scootaloo episode this next week. Holy shit! Like, we're gonna get some good stuff. I feel real good about episode 5. I'm really excited to see what they do. So
yeah, God love those Scootaloo episodes. It's kind of funny. I two things about the episode. Not Castlemania, but from yesterday. I already forgot the name of it. That's impressive. Oh, Daring Don't. There we go. That just came out of nowhere into my mind. Thank God. But two kind of entertaining things. I had to pause my TV at one point to go down and run some errands, and then come back and then watch the rest of the episode. Paused it at a glorious moment. Fucking perfect. Rainbow Dash giving the bedroom eyes to Twilight, like luring her over to her bedroom. I'm like, gotta take a picture of that. So, got my phone, took a picture of my TV. I'll put it on Imgur later and then throw it in the chat because I find it hilarious, this one particular little pause point. And also, just for shits and giggles, I decided, why not? Let's go on to the MLP board of 4chan and see what they're saying about the new episode. And oh man, there was this one guy raging so hard about all the Dash fags calling yesterday's episode the worst of the whole entire series, and I'm like, someone really, really doesn't like Rainbow Dash and should never, ever get in an argument with Shamrock, or else they're going to be in for it.
Damn straight. I will punch that mofo. Lay them out. Yeah. And oh my God. Well, first of all, one of the major things from that fucking episode, like, the Rainbow Dash smirk, like, about halfway through. Holy shit, that just fucking blew up on social media. Like, what? Like, you go back and I fucking, like, just look at that one image, and I'm like, where did they think to do this? Like who came up with this? Because, oh my God, it's just, like, totally different feel from normal. and just how it's related to the actual, sort of gab. Of like, oh, I can't propose yet, or whatever. I don't fucking remember what you said, but, oh my God, I can't even. I literally am speechless about that fucking little part right there. It's gonna be remembered for a long time. Like, that GIF is gonna be out there for a while.
It's like the new Twilight Cane of season 4 of episode
God.
4, 4. But anyway, a quick recap of what we talked about yesterday. I mean, I swear we spent half of last week. I swear we spent last of episode 6, part 2 of the Celestia Radio history. Half of that show had to have been just talking about LPU. Because it was an epic good time, an epic story, also epic terrible things that happened, but that really just translates to more of an epic good time when you look back at it. So, what did you think? We made some good ground last week. We probably covered a whole entire year, I'd say.
Yeah, we started kind of post BronyCon 2012 summer, and we made it all the way to basically, up to like April, May-ish of 2013. So we covered basically a year. And a lot of shit happened too, like fucking LPU and all that bullshit. But yeah, definitely. But one thing we did want to talk about is that this sort of atmosphere that we had coming out of LPU was like, all right, the powers that be have been sort of calmed a little bit. All this media scape at the time. It was our first convention as the Pony Free Press, to really do some good as far as media is concerned. We had, Bronyville, as well as later on, Brony Time joined the group, and of course, Grand Canterlot Cavalcade is in that. And I think there's another podcast that I can't quite remember that's a part of it. But then you also had the media, you had the publication media, you had DHN, you had EQD. A little bit of Roundstable was sort of at least friendly with us. And then as far as radio guys, you had Celestia Radio leading the radio scene. Brony State headed up the video sort of division. And later on, Ponyville Live joined in. And headed up that as well. So we had quite a large mass of people that were involved in this sort of media group that basically tried to strive for equality in media, free press, and access to the conventions, the show staff, and just in general trying to promote more media for people to be able to have. And LPU was a great opportunity to show what we had, and we did a really good job there. We came out of it thinking that EFN might be at least a little more friendly towards us, and then, after that, it was not very long.
Like 2 weeks. Like, we were even tweeting them like, oh, so happy. EFN people were like, I can now say that I enjoy Celestia Radio's company, and we're all happy, and Final Draft is like, nope. Fuck off.
Yep. It's always Final Draft, he's always the one that decides to, come in and kick everybody's sandcastles over.
So they can shove it up
it's the best way I can describe that. But it was short-lived. I knew sort of deep down that a true, alliance would not happen with them, or even a fucking standoff. Just, we tried back in the day when EFN first came around. Actually, I can't remember if they approached us or if we approached them about starting up a actual media network of all the different radio stations. And that was the time when I sat down with Landon and PHP, and we basically just came to the decision after putting some work into it that it just wasn't worth it, because there was too much to lose by doing it. Not only a part of our souls, but just to cut it straight, like, we didn't want to get into bed with Final Draft, and that's that. In my opinion, even though we may have not achieved as many of the as much of the audience that they have, we kept our souls intact, and we kept our heads held high, and we kept our image, and that's what matters.
And most importantly, we kept our jobs.
Most importantly, that is very true. We did not go bankrupt trying to hold up a failing media empire, and God, am I happy about that. So, so kind of going out of that, we were back at it again. It was PFP versus EFN, and there was some more finagling. I think that was also the time when it became evident that we had lost BronyCon. This was actually during the time period of the blackouts when, we
more or less pulled the carpet and said, "Fuck you guys, I'm going home."
Yeah, we said, well, if conventions and if groups that want press are going to, when we give them press and we give them good press and good reviews, when they turn around and basically say, okay, you're not welcome here, then we kind of go, what the fuck, bro? Like, we plugged you guys, like we helped you out, and then you just stab us in the back. So at that point, that's when, as a group, the PFP decided, all right, if you're not going to play fair, then, we're going to abide by legitimate media rules, and we're just not going to promote you. It's just totally within our right. It's not like we're strong-arming anyone. We don't have to cover you. We don't have to talk about you. We could choose as we wish what to cover and decide what our audience wants to see, and that's sort of where things went. So EQD, at that point, I thought I would never see the day Sophisto said no more EFN posts at all on EQD. And starting from that point on, absolutely nothing that went on with EFN got posted on EQD, and it's still held up to this day. In fact, Final Draft got a little pissy the other day.
He still is pissy. Last night he got pissy on Tumblr. I'm like, you fucking twat.
Man. Yeah, so he's like, oh, why aren't we getting any stuff on EFN or on EQD? And it's like, well, when you badmouth us and you try and steal our employees and you do all this stuff behind our backs to try and get exclusive rights to broadcast at these conventions, it's like, look, I mean, what are we supposed to do other than try and at least defend ourselves? So, of course, we're not going to fucking plug your shit because you're a poison to us, And so that's basically what happened. We just said no more. So if you want to get into bed with EFN and have exclusivity with them, then we'll let you have exclusivity with them, and they're the only ones that are going to plug you. So I think a lot of places immediately realized what they'd done wrong. A lot of places realized how much sway that all of us had combined as far as audience is concerned, and EFN only has a couple hundred people maybe that watch them versus the thousands that flock to EQD and the like. So, when it's all said and done, we pretty much showed them we were willing to play ball, and the conventions are slowly starting to realize that that they made a fault. And I think, honestly, that the conventions as well are not just going to open up to free media, but they're basically going to stop with streaming altogether, and they're going to go with recorded programming like Nightmare Nights Dallas decided to do, which I think is a good compromise between press equality and convention convention security, basically.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's to their benefit not to allow the live streaming of panels and all that different kind of shit, because the goal is to bring people to your convention for that very thing. Panels primarily guests and then spend money on other shit so they can get, interest on other stuff. And then record it and then upload it a week later. So there is that, there's the benefit of actually going to it, because if I know that I can just watch whatever I want to see as it's happening, there's no way in hell I want to dish out the money to go when I can do it at home. So
exactly.
Really, it's in their own interest. But with that, we're going to swing into our first commercial break here, as well as our first music break. The first song we have, I'm still sticking to it. We're roughly sticking to the kind of electronic song first, and then the less, the more acoustic type of music for the second song. We're going to stick to that today. This first song was off of the charity album that we premiered at Celestia Radio last Sunday, Derpy Swings. So you can't pick up this song quite yet on YouTube, but you can definitely get it if you want to go make that donation on their Bandcamp, which is ponycharityalbums2/Bandcamp/Derpy Swings. I said that link so many times, I still remember it a week later. But the song we're going to be listening to is a great hybrid of a little bit of electronic music and some jazz and some swing. And I'm a big fan of hybrids when they're actually, executed methodically and correctly. And I think this one did it not perfectly, but close to enough that we'll go ahead and give it a play. So don't go anywhere. You're tuned into Celestia Radio, Canterlot Cross-Fade. We're going to have a quick commercial break, but we will be right back.
I say, my name is Silence, and I am a DJ, that is to say, a disc jockey. Looking for some entertainment to liven up your weekend scones and afternoon tea? Say no more. Take a seat by the fireplace and tune into my show, Loud Beats, Silent Brit, from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Seaboard Time, or 7 to 9 p.m. for the gentlemen in Greenwich Mean Time. I hope I'll see you there. Cheerio.
Hey, don't it feel so energetic, Try Rainbow Dash, the energy drink for ponies with gratuitous amounts of friendship. With all new flavors like Flutter Guy, Buttershy Energy. It's like adding kindness to an electrical storm. Sound the alarm. You're going to be comfortably cheerful. What's that? You want Pinkie Pie? Well, how about Pinkie Die? With parties, real parties, friendship. You'll be good at it. It's an energy drink for ponies. Bonergy. These aren't your sister's ponies. These are Bonergy ponies. Turbo ponies. Caring energy. Rainbow Dash, Rainbow Crash, Rainbow Cupcakes. It has more rainbow than your body has room for. You're like so fast, so she'll be like, slow down. And you'll be like, fuck you! And kick her in the face with your Bonergy legs. You'll have so much Bonergy. Bonergy! You'll be flying all the time. Flying friendly, caring, friendly sleeping, friendly shipping, friendly laughing, friendly spawning. Phillies! You'll have so many Phillies. 400 Phillies! Give Rainbow Dash to your Phillies, and they'll be good at friendship! Make your Phillies fly abnormally fast! They'll fly as fast as griffins! Ponies will watch them and think they're griffins! They'll race as fast as griffins against actual griffins! And then it'll be a tie and they'll be deported back to Griffinia! Hey! Go with the sure thing! Don't gamble on your Bonergy! Fluttershy Stare! Buy Rainbow Dash! The Bonergy for friendship!
I'm Jeff Burgess, and you're listening to Sexy Time Radio, also known as Celestia Radio.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Les Derps TIF. Man, what a good song. It was on the Charity album last week, or whenever we aired that. Was it last week?
I should know this.
I didn't even think about it. I was just like, yeah, it was that thing that played. that one time.
I'm gonna say it was last Sunday that we did.
Yeah,
it. The whole,
yeah, because I was right. Yeah, okay.
The
yeah,
whole exciting 5-track album.
Yeah, buy it. Charity
Yep.
Stuff. It's for charity.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we're doing it again in March with hopefully more music. So we're airing it
Yeah.
again. If you liked it, that's something that you can worry about in 4 months. So
exactly.
we'll remind
But in
you
the
later.
meantime, buy that shit now. and how can they buy it again? What's the link?
Oh God, what was it? Pony Charity Albums /Bandcamp /Derpy_swings.com, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just Google
Yeah.
some. You fucking get it. Find it.
Internet.
Internet.
Money. Go pay stuff for good music. Anyway, so welcome back to Canterlot Cross-Fade, where censorship can go FCC itself and all that good jazz. So today we're here to talk about Celestia Radio History Part 3, the epic finale, we fucking hope, of this show. Who knows? Maybe we'll do like a Part 4 in 6 months when we're like, let's do another thing. But of course, you can always check these shows after we're done up on our YouTube. But for right now, you are listening live here on Celestia Radio. Really, with all of that media crap that was going on and just everything, it became such this pressurized zone of hatred, between PFP versus EFN, and really just the atmosphere when you would go to some of these conventions. I mean, we talked about it for Las Pegasus, was just like, you walk into a room and I'm there and fucking Seth is there and Silver Eagle's there and Derpy Squad's there and then fucking Final Draft is there and some EFN guys, and it's just like murderous silence covers the floor. And you're just like, good God, this must be, sometimes it's what I feel like it would be, during a presidential debate where literally the one guy is up there and the other guy gets up there and they fucking have to shake hands and smile, but it's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, you son of a bitch. It's just like, holy shit. That's the level of intensity that things got to. And luckily for most people, as we said, the conventions kind of started to, we ourselves for, PFP, we started to get some more and more conventions that were like, all right, we want you guys to cover us, not EFN. And there were some other conventions that said, well, we want both of you to cover. And then more and more recently, though, you're starting to see conventions, I think really starting with EQLA and Nightmare Nights Dallas, say, fuck that. You can come. Every press is welcome. You can record our shit all together. Everybody gets equal access, but you're not streaming because we want to make money at our convention. But you can put those videos up as soon as as soon as you go home or whatever the press policy says. But really, that's the best compromise that you can really get and you can hope for. And hopefully, BronyCon next year decides to do the same thing. They're big enough that I think their little BronyCon at home thing is just sort of whatever, and they don't care that they're going to lose a couple people because they can get 8K, so who gives a shit, really? So BronyCon will be the last sort of folks for that. But I don't know. We'll see. I have good feelings if Nightmare Nights Dallas continues next year. EQLA, of course. I'm a fan of them, though I never go there. Not a fan of California, to be honest, so that's why I've steered clear. But I'm glad that they have a good convention out there that does a great job of media representation and does some good.
Yeah, I mean, BabsCon's coming to California too, and Rommel's their PR, and if he gave the shit out to all of us, then I would be genuinely shocked. I don't think Rommel's the kind of guy that would do that. So there's a couple California cons now. Yeah.
And I don't think he's a super fan of Final either, so, they always do their charity stream with us, usually first and foremost, and he and I always drink together, so it's, we're good. But, on that note, basically, you have this atmosphere, and you start to see the conventions start to realize, oh, we don't really need to pay thousands of dollars for this media group to cover us that has an audience of like a couple hundred people.
Yeah, why are we paying them again? I forgot why we're doing that.
I don't know.
And we already talked about that last week. So.
we did. Go listen to episode 6 if you want to hear us fucking rant about stupid media policies that EFN has adopted. But we just keep on keeping on. The main thing is, here we are. We see these new conventions going on, and that's pretty much where we're at with the CR history thing. So, for the main topic here, we're going to talk about the conventions that we've seen, the later half, or the rest of 2013 minus Las Pegasus Unicon, basically.
That's a good way to put it. March onward.
Yeah,
that's kind of funny. That sounds like a sentence, but it's also a time. Go on.
Yeah, okay. So, I at least went to Fiesta Equestria. That was another convention that I think it was the beginning of the end. Well, no, Las Pegasus Unicon was the beginning of the end for EFN, but Fiesta Equestria was sort of like the con that really fucked them. Because up until this time, EFN had been allied with these huge major conventions. They hadn't had a speck of dust on their PR record aside from Final just being a douche and nobody believing us about it. And but none of the conventions would really say anything bad about them because they wanted to stay in good ties. And there was no convention that had fucked up really bad for them until Fiesta Equestria. And you have the marvelous Dietz to blame for that, because basically what ended up happening is Dietz kind of went a little crazy. He went with EFN when at LPU we told him, it's a bad idea, don't get in bed with Final Draft and you're going to regret it. And he kind of said YOLO and went on into it, and he ended up, through the course of a bunch of events, monetary mix-ups and everything, really just pissing off the entire community of Houston, Texas. Like, the entire Brony community was like, fuck you, Dietz. Like, they all fucking hated his guts. And that did not do any favors for EFN, because they were partnered with Fiesta Equestria to do this convention, and they could not save face. Fiesta Equestria went on with few problems, but the damage that was done from a PR sense had already been done. And Pickle Brony, who was on our side through this conflict, he was the co-chair of that convention and the monetary backer, really, of it. He said, we're done. He separated, his ties with Dietz, and it's still a cluster whether or not Fiesta Equestria is going to happen again this year, because, Dietz has said, well, I have the money from the first convention, I'm just going to do it again. Though, obviously, he pissed off a lot of people, and we're not real sure how good his favoritism is going to be, because PFP certainly won't be doing any coverage for him.
Which always raises the point that because you have the money never means that you should. That's never a reason just to host a con. I have the money to do it, let's do it again. And Texas has no shortage of different conventions already, by the looks of it. At least Brony Fanfare. Maybe Nightmare Nights, hopefully it's looking like it. So I'm sure the amounts of fucks given, especially even by the Houston community, would be pretty much zilch.
Yeah, because, it's just, God, they really disliked it. And even, there were definitely a few things about it. Brony Fanfare, actually, I was, relatively pleasantly surprised. It was better than last year, and I think they pulled it off better than Fiesta Equestria, I think. It's hard to compare in some ways, but I think as far as a fuller programming schedule, they had it more there. They obviously didn't have Andrea Libman, or Jesus Christ. They didn't have Ashley Ball, but that's one thing FE had going for it. They had, Ashley Ball, and it was like, holy shit, fucking Rainbow Dash and Applejack's here. Like, that never happens. But, that was their one very small achievement. And BFF is 2 years strong and definitely going on a third. They have no shortage of people in the Austin area, and they pull plenty down from Dallas and Houston as well. And they were the first one. They were the first Texas Con. So they're going to stay there. They're backed, of course, by IckyCon. That's sort of their convention backers. And
the con chair, Peter, just got engaged to that redhead chick like a week ago. So small golf clap to Peter. Congratulations to you.
Yeah, small, a little golf clap. But and the other thing, Nightmare Nights Dallas, that's backed by, the convention organization Drama, which also runs a furry fiesta down in Dallas as well, and that's a relatively large furry convention of the South, a pretty major one down in Texas. So they're not really going anywhere if they decide to do another year. But Fiesta Equestria, I tell you what, they're on their own two legs and only really with one to stand on after Pickle pulled out. So we'll see what happens with them. But that was pretty much that. And EFN took a little bit of a dive, I think, in my opinion, with that convention and after it. Texas definitely wasn't a fan of them at that point. And they did like Celestia Radio, though, because we were down there with Brony Fanfare the first year. We made our impressions down in the South super early, and they loved us, and they had us back again at Brony Fanfare the next year. And, of course, we were at Fiesta Equestria and Nightmare Nights Dallas, and, everything went really well. And we're a staple there, of course, probably in part to the fact that I spend nearly $1,000 every time I go down there with fucking alcohol and shit. So...
Oh, the infamous parties.
Oh, parties help. I tell you what, if EFN had some more just open to the public parties, I feel like that they would do a little bit better. But no, they have to have these closeted, things that Dusty runs, that they have a very, non-casual, very professional, suited up sort of cocktail party things with like 10 or 20 people, and I'm just like, let everybody into the room, whatever, I've got booze, it's all good. So I think more people like that. But yeah, so that was that. And then holy shit, I think after Fiesta Equestria, wasn't it the week after?
There was a snafu with Sweet Apple Acres Con, and I think Tennessee, that EFN was also backing, but it never happened. And then they thought it was going to happen, and then literally 12 hours before it was supposed to start, like the opening ceremony, they're like, no, it's not happening. And I know Eurobeat Travis was like, fuck you guys so hard. Like, I said I was going to come to this thing 6 months ago, and you officially claimed 12 hours before I'm supposed to be there, flying from California to the Midwest. Yeah, we're not going to do that, so you don't really need to show up. So yeah, that was another clusterfuck on its own that Celestia Radio wasn't involved with. So, that was definitely a huge impact as well. Not only Fiesta Equestria, that one, Cutie Mark Con as well was like another really weird one. They ended up being kind of strange, but yeah, Sweet Apple Acres, holy shit. You had this is where EFN really started to take it straight to the ball sack, to be honest, because this is when a snow pony got involved. This character, I tell you what, nobody really knew or even knows who the person is, but sort of out of the dust of the conflict of LPU, this character named Snow Pony kind of came about, and they made contacts with Sweet Apple Acres, some of the folks, at EFN, and exposed a lot of the stuff that we had been talking about EFN for a while in Final Draft, about how they were, getting, paid by these conventions, signing these exclusivity contracts, and just how in bed the conventions were with them. And you take a look and see that the first con head for Sweet Apple Acres,
basically leaves, says, fuck this, there's no way. And then the next person that steps up and takes charge, they ended up leaking some stuff about the convention, the financial records, and a lot of the stuff about how they just were totally fucking screwed because they booked too many people for one, and they just didn't have enough political backing behind it. And so you couldn't get enough people. And a lot of people at that point were like, is this going to happen?
And in a post-Las Pegasus world, that's just their own dumb fucking fault that they should have known better by example.
Absolutely. I mean, they definitely were the second Unicon, even though it didn't even happen, because literally, you had this stuff where people are like, all the PR folks over there were like, all right, it's going to happen. We're getting geared up and ready to go, and we've got all these people. And then, it just stayed, the media was totally silent. And I think that's what showed that a con can completely tank without the media being on its side. And when they got in bed with EFN and we said, all right, that's cool, you can do your exclusive stuff with them, we just won't really talk about you, and you guys can fare on your own. And a lot of people were disappointed because they were like, well, what are you guys doing? It's the con's responsibility to publicize and be in charge of advertisement. And the fact that they failed at it, and they thought that putting all their trust in the hands of this, this other group of, I think they paid like $4,000 or something to try and get all the EFN people there and to pay for them, right? I want to say it was something like that from the records that they showed.
Sounds about right.
And with all of that, and the and the guests, they only paid like $1,000 for, right? That was the biggest one. Like the Cravers, they only paid $1,000 out of pocket, whereas EFN, the people that were supposed to be recording and advertising the guests that are there, like the guests are your attraction, not a fucking media organization that's going to live stream your fucking convention, right? So, like, why wouldn't you at least not only discard those funds? They're obviously not doing you any favors, right? Like, they're not getting enough people to your convention. Cut that shit off. You save $3,000, you might save the convention. They paid $4,000 out of pocket, for a non-guest related entity to come in and lose them more money by live streaming. And not only that, but you don't tell anybody that bad things are happening with your con, you're going under, and you end up with this atmosphere of people going, I don't know. The consumer confidence is what it comes down to. Consumer confidence went straight out the window. People said, what is going on? There were no answers. And eventually at one point, a lot of us media people just started telling people, look, it's less than 24 hours away. Don't go. There's not enough supportive evidence to say that this convention is going to happen. Don't waste, especially all that money that you put forward for travel. You can't get that back. You know what I mean? It's too late for people to buy plane tickets. It's too late for people to book hotel rooms. Close down your financial obligations to it and get out. And Eurobeat Brony did the exact same thing. And when you have such a public figure as him, one of the most major musicians probably in the pony scene, decide to pull out and say, I'm not going because there's not enough confidence in this convention, tons of people followed suit. And it tanked, and it was done. They pretty much, the morning of the convention, they said, well, we're not going to have it. And absolutely irresponsible. Just crazy that we have to put up with shit like that. But, that's how you weed out the bad ones and you keep the good ones. And
on that kind of train of conventions coming and then failing and then not making money or doing well, a few years down the road, that's what's going to whittle it down to what I'm going to say 4 solid conventions a year, maybe even 3, because after so much trial and error, because at the end of the day, people, you can call it a fucking convention if you want. You might have one musician that wants to swing by. You're a fucking meetup. An overglorified meetup that's going to have a few more people and get a little bit more coverage. But I mean, I've ranted about that too. Conventions calling themselves conventions when they're really not, all that shit. So that's what I foresee. 4 or 3 really big ones happening, West Coast, East Coast, kind of the central United States, and then everything else is just going to be little satellite conventions. That's where I see it going. But anyway, history of Celestia Radio, not conventions being completely fucking stupid. So
Right. Well, it helps to give a little bit of background, for folks as far as where the media's at, because we, at the end of the day, we started out straight up music, and when I got involved and tried to make it a little more, like a radio station, we started getting a little bit more into the media side of things. And it's definitely a part of who we are. We may not be as big into the media, press sort of thing as some of the others might be, because music has always been our first priority, right? And doing good shows.
Yeah, just
entertainment.
Look at any terrestrial radio station. Once in a blue moon, they'll go out there and do a remote about a live event, and it's awesome. 99% of the rest of the fucking time, they are a radio station. That's what we are. When shit happens and we feel inclined to go do it, we do, but we don't tell ourselves that's what we're here for.
Yeah,
and that's the important
definitely.
thing.
We're not a news station first and foremost. We're definitely here as entertainment. You have aspects of the station, of course, shows like this that we delve into the news stuff, and that's kind of where it lies. That's where the news feedback comes from. But we've never been a place to sort of call ourselves a news station. That's just not what we are. But on that track of, heading off from Fiesta Equestria and, the Cutie Mark Con and Sweet Apple Acres Con, at that point, that's when, PVL started to do pretty good and EFN sort of fell behind. And isn't that around the time the Hoof Sounds came about?
Hoof Sounds was like 4 months ago.
Right, so it was pre-BronyCon though, wasn't it? Or post?
I'd say post by like a margin
of
a few weeks.
Well, basically, we ended up coming together. BronyCon ended up happening. We did send a good amount of people to BronyCon. I can't actually remember it. A lot of our international folks came and did that, but before BronyCon, we had Midwest Brony Fest.
Woohoo!
And yeah, woohoo, Kansas. Overland Park, Kansas had the Midwest Brony Fest, and some couple of friends of mine, John, good guy, ran this con, and some other local Kansas City Brony folks down at the Overland Park Convention Center here, and it's a nice little clean, convention center. It's not super huge, but
it got the job done.
You what?
It got the job done just fine. I know next year they're going into some fucking Holiday Inn or something, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I'm kind of glad too, because it's like, well, let's not have the bullshit I've had to deal with Holiday Inn in the past down in Texas.
Yep.
I really wish Brony Fanfare would move. I fucking hate that convention center. It just makes me want to cut myself. They don't like us very much. But Midwest Brony Fest, it was a fun time. We KB obviously came down with his friend, and we just kind of fucking chilled. Fucking Michael A was there, Ariano, and
that was just a peculiar change of fate that we were not intending. I think, wasn't he supposed to even go to BronyCon earlier, but he was like, fuck it, I got nothing to do all week. We're like, hey, you could just crash with us,
I'm trying
or something
to remember
like that. And he's like, cool, I'll just crash with you guys. You guys are way more fun than my roommate. And
oh yeah, he was he still ended up going to BronyCon, but it was sort of like, oh, I got a week to do nothing, and I was like, you can totally just stay over at my place. I've got space. And he was like, okay. So we just YOLO'd it.
Yep, we just played table games and watched regular show every single episode.
Every single fucking episode of regular show. Holy shit. I tell you what, that was good.
It was good.
I enjoyed it. I got to get up to speed on the whole Margaret situation. I wasn't fully up to speed with that yet. I actually still not. they're already doing the next season, aren't they? Right now.
Yeah, I'm still been keeping up with it well. Margaret's still not in the picture. However, the dad came back in an episode last week. Holy shit, love that guy.
Shit. What episode are they on, by the way? I need to get caught up.
God, last episode was the last one I didn't watch last Monday's, but I watched their Thanksgiving special, and basically Mordecai and Rigby completely fucking ruined Thanksgiving. And they have to go buy a turkey, but of course there's not a turkey, so they enter some rap contest and try to win a turkey.
Jesus Christ.
It's regular show. The amount of shit they fit and cram into a 15-minute episode never ceases to amaze me. So...
Not even 15, like fucking 10 minutes. It's just holy. I mean, but you know, it's kind of one of those things where if you understand the dude that wrote regular show or created it, and like a lot of the shit he did coming up with it, it's kind of like, okay, I can see where we're going. You know.
But, yeah, that's, as you can see, Sham and I are regular show fans, but we'll get back to Midwest Brody Fest.
We'll get back to the actual shit. Anyway, it was a good con. We will forever be kind of the people for Midwest Brony Fest, just because I fucking live here for one. And I know everybody that runs it, and QCOM, of course, DJ Squirrel, you know, he lives down in Topeka, and we got a lot of ties here in Kansas. We got a lot of folks that like us, as well as down in Texas, you know, pretty much the whole belt in this area. We're good on good terms.
We are the Midwest, basically.
We are the Midwest. It's true. So, you know, people love us. We just keep doing our shit. You know, as long as people are entertained, we keep doing it. And they enjoyed us at Midwest Brony Fest. You know, we did some music and shit, and had a good time. Michael Ariano had a good time. As long as the musicians are happy, as long as listeners are happy, then I'm pretty much happy. So that's always been my opinion anyway, as far as how we do things here. But another thing really that did wonders for us, I think we did a good job as far as media presence is concerned with BronyCon, with what we had. You know, BronyCon was really still in bed with EFN pretty much, and they had chosen to go with a single provider for streaming.
They very reluctantly gave us some small benefits. Like, yeah, I guess you can film something, but you kind of have to go in that back corner. Which at least was better treatment than we've seen that PVL got at BronyCon, because holy shit, Silver Eagle's accounts of all the shit that happened there.
And it's because, yeah, honestly, it's because we've been around. When you're in the business, as long as we've been in it, you know, people know who you are, even if you don't do that much stuff. And they just like, oh yeah, it's these guys. Okay, let them. It's kind of like being able to get into the club. You know what I mean? It's like if you're around the scene long enough, people just let you into the club after a while. Yeah, it was definitely not cool, a lot of the shit that happened. But for the most part, folks went, they had a good time, music was great. We took a huge international force there. Our two Australians, as well as one of our Germans was there, all three of which are directors on the staff. Thorlane, of course, heads up the TV side of things. Void, our German, is sort of on website detail now, as well as radio technical stuff. And Cider will be relatively taking over programming from you, hopefully at some point soon, for the radio side of things.
So I can not have 4 jobs. Yay.
Yeah, exactly. It helps not to have that. But you know, it was just luck that, you know, Void was sort of like, I'm going to take a month and come to Kansas, and so Void was here at my place for like an entire month, and that was interesting.
Yeah, Void, my word of advice is, even though you got the friends there, when you take a month vacation to the United States, go to somewhere other than Lawrence, Kansas. There's a lot to see in this country.
It's true. It's
Sham's
true.
Basement's not the most amazing landmark.
Well, it is the heartland. I mean, you can't get more down home country than Kansas. Although it was Kansas City, so it's like not really that country. But I got to take him to Mexican for the first time in his life. That was fun.
Was it unlimited tacos? Because we did that, and that was fucking great.
Damn straight it was fucking unlimited tacos down at fucking...
on the border or
that
something.
place on the border, thank you. Yeah, unlimited tacos, fucking on the border. Had a hell of a time. And he actually had to ask me how to eat a taco. That was a very interesting lesson that I had to teach. I never thought I'd see the day.
Oh,
but,
I have a definition for this moment.
Oh?
Yes.
What is it?
It's taco. 1 year, 3 months, and 21 days. That definition has existed for taco.
Jesus Christ. I literally don't even. But fuck. I mean, what can I say? It was fun. It was crazy. We had, just like a shitload of tacos.
Yeah, and on tacos, swinging into our commercial break so we can get ready for our...
Damn straight.
for our news and weather report at the top of the hour.
Some fish tacos.
Yeah, fish tacos. So you're tuned into Canterlot Cross-Fade. We're, of course, live at the moment. If you're listening back to this, then it's not live, and I think you probably got a good grasp on that. So we're going to swing into our commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
What up, Equestria? Karai here with the Sea Ponies, just letting you know that you are shooby-dooing to Celestia Radio. All Sea Pony, all the time. Except when it's not.
Want to deliver mail fast and safe? Try the Derpy Hooves Postal Service. Derpy personally handles each piece of mail like a child and will deliver it immediately. Unlike the Equestrian Postal Service, Derpy delivers mail every day of the week. Every pony loves Derpy's Postal Service. Just listen to these testimonials.
I don't know how, but my mail got to where it needed to go. And I got a muffin.
Derpy doesn't seem like the brightest pony in Equestria, but she is fast, and she gives us all muffins, which is cool too.
Well, the eyes are a very noticeable feature of Derpy, but she is extremely fast. My mail got to Canterlot from Ponyville in one day, and I got a muffin. What is it with that pony and muffins?
So instead of using Equestrian Postal Service, try Derpy Hooves, where your mail matters.
Hello, this is Princess Celestia. After a long, trying day, I love to curl up by the fire and listen to Celestia Radio, the best radio station in Equestria. And no, the fact that it shares my name has nothing to do with that at all. Nope, nuh-uh. Celestia Radio. All pony, all the time.
And we are back, folks. DJK here, still joined with DJ Shamrock on episode 7 of Canterlot Cross-Fade. We're almost at the top of the hour, so that, of course, means it is time for our weather and news report. So, Shamrock, I believe, as always, you have our weather report for the capital city.
That is damn straight, KB. Well, Phillies and Gentle Colts here in the beautiful capital city of Canterlot. Looks like we're having a pretty decent ease into the wintry season. Very light snowfalls the last few days have done nothing but give that tingling feeling that it's finally that time of year. The next week is supposed to be relatively fair, if not just a little cold, as temperatures peak at around 20 degrees Fahrenheit with little ice or snow to show for it. Though you might want to count yourselves lucky, others in Equestria are not quite having the same luck, are they, KB?
Most certainly not, Shamrock. It would appear a winter storm has been hammering away at the western region of Equestria for the past 4 days now. Snow has been heavy in the region, particularly in the Appaloosa region. Frost has decimated the city's apple crop for the upcoming season, and the temperatures are down to as low as 3 degrees Fahrenheit. These record-setting temps have caught this usually temperate town well off guard. So currently the only source of heat throughout the whole entire town is Brayburn. But we will have more updates on this winter storm as they develop. And with that awkward silence, we will start the news.
Very complimentary article in the LA Times regarding Pony has appeared. The article by Robert Lloyd goes into Lauren Faust's genius rebranding on the show, but it doesn't really delve too much into the actual fandom. You can check it out on the LA Times' website. I haven't had a good read of it yet, but from what I hear, it's supposed to be a really good article. So go check it out. LA Times website. I don't know what the actual link for that is, unfortunately.
It's probably like latimes.com, Lord knows.
Yeah, pretty simple.
It's a pretty short article. It's part of like a series of 3 different things about cartoons, so I don't know. Read it if you were inclined to do so. In other news, the German company, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right because it's spelled A-M-I-G-O, so naturally I want to pronounce it in the Spanish form Amigo, but as a German company, I'm sure that's not correct, but I'm going to roll with it anyway. The company Amigo is releasing the MLP collectible card game in Germany and Austria. That would lead me to suspect that these cards will be spreading to more of Europe as a result. I mean, Europe's pretty damn, it's a big continent, but lots of tiny countries that have roads. So knowing Europe, those trading cards will get passed around. They will be traded. It's like that's what they're supposed to do or something. Shamrock?
Right? Who would have thought a fucking collectible trading card game? I tell you what, I've heard a lot of really good stuff from the release that they did down in, was it Chicago? I want to say, or somewhere. They had the little MLP trading card game, and it was, they demoed it, and people have loved it. I've seen some of the sets that people came out with. Looks like a fucking pretty cool thing, so you guys should get in on that MLP trading card game. It looks like a blast. Well, it's finally here. From a distant hope to a conversation starter at our LPU dinner party, Daniel Ingram has finally released a My Little Pony official soundtrack. Though it's missing a few reprises and tidbits here and there, the album is a hoot, and you can pick it up on iTunes and on Google Play. What is that album actually called?
I think that Hasbro so eloquently dubbed it the MLP soundtrack. Officially,
Good job, Hasbro PR. Good job.
So clever. But, we were talking about it. Hey, is this ever going to happen? Good old Danny's like, I can't tell you, so find out. And we just found out. So,
yes.
Holy shit. There you have it. In other news, Tara Strong is announced for BabsCon. As I mentioned earlier, that's a convention getting held down in Burlingame, California. Last time we talked about it, I didn't know anything about it. That's where it's being held, and it's also going to be in the 2014 convention season, held on April 18th through the 20th. So check it out if you were in the California area. Rommel's hosting it. We like Rommel, so BabsCon.
He's a cool guy, and they do cool stuff for charity. So go buy a ticket. Well, as mentioned earlier, we've got the official soundtrack to the show, according to a post by Daniel Ingram earlier the week. It would appear we'll see an official Equestria Girls soundtrack coming soon as well. Keep your fingers crossed for this mid-2014 release. I tell you what, they did have some really good stuff in the Equestria Girls movie. Particularly the music was some of the stuff that I actually liked. From what a lot of people have bitched about. I enjoyed the music, and I thought that the music was great, as well as, some of the animation style stuff, except for, of course, colors and whatever. Anyway, we had talked about that, or maybe we didn't talk about Equestria Girls. I can't remember.
We probably did at one point. We talk about so much shit, it's hard to keep up with. But it's kind of funny, just on, I think, Daniel Ingram's, Facebook page that you can like and shit. Some mom was like, my daughter thing, that human that I birthed, really enjoys Equestria Girls and the music. When am I going to get a soundtrack? And he said, I don't know, I think Hasbro's working on it. My guess would be mid-2014 you can find it. So that's where that's coming from. I mean, of all the sources that would probably be accurate, Daniel Ingram, as far as music's concerned, not a bad idea. Also mentioned earlier, so many different parallels here in this news today. The MLP collectible card game, of course, you can now pick it up in Germany and Austria. However, an official how-to-play and rule set instruction manual has been released. I briefly glanced at it. Holy shit, it looks way too complicated for anything I'll ever want to do. I mean, But if you love playing card games and that kind of stuff, and My Little Pony, you can check out that instruction manual on EQD. I mean, I got the other Interplay cards. I've got a binder of them. Don't know why I spent money on them, but maybe I'll do something with them someday. Probably not, but I have some. That's really all. Sham.
Yeah. Well, Season 4 t-shirts, believe it or not, already available on We Love Fine. Holy shit. From Castlemania shirts, Daring Don't designs, and of course a healthy helping of Twilocane t-shirts. This company is already prepped for the season of Pony. We Love Fine always has some really cool stuff that comes back in during the winter for the holiday season, and they've really outdone themselves for bringing some of this stuff in. Of course, you might see some of it trail over to, what the hell is that? Hot Topic. There you go. They like to steal some stuff. And who knows, we might see some of those nice little robes come back. I wanted to get me one of those things, one of those black Rainbow Dash robes. Remember those?
Weren't they only in medium or something when you went to go try to buy one?
Oh, I was so fucking pissed. Yeah, they're fucking. I'm this big ass guy, and I go there, and I'm like, oh shit, there's one left. They'll never produce this ever again, and it's like a small. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Fucking. I tried to get it on around me, but it was trying to wear capris. I mean, the fucking thing came up to my knees. I was like, oh, this isn't gonna work. My arms were too fucking big to go in the thing anyway, so I was like, whatever, I guess I'll just deal. But maybe, there's always hoping this Christmas season we'll see some more stuff. I'm hoping. So, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, the Twilocane shirts, too, they're a fucking crack up. I mean, I'm not even sure why people decide of all things, yes, I'm gonna fucking social media the shit out of that cane. But of all the things that could have happened, I'm glad it's pretty entertaining, the fact that it's a thing, I suppose. But there's already 4 shirts from Season 4 featuring Twilocane in some different
People just
way.
latch onto that shit, and of course, We Love Fine being the social media entangled group that they are, they see all this stuff, and I'm sure those people go on 4chan and shit too, you know what I mean? They seem like the kind of people that would, and I'm sure they pull a lot of ideas and just let's put that on a shirt, that's what everybody's talking about.
And I mean, they sub out a lot of their work to individual fandom artists and shit, hey, I got this idea, you want to make it a shirt? And, whether it be interval, paced kind of competitions or just random submissions I think they get, there's always something happening with We Love Fine, so that's always pretty cool. On that note, we still got a couple tidbits left here. This is a big one, of course, pertaining to Celestia Radio. Jeff Burgess, that awesome musician, he's one of our best friends. We got a couple sweepers that he made for us back in the day. He's got a new album premiere that he's going to be doing only on Celestia Radio. He's teamed up with a whole bunch of fantastic different artists in the fandom. I know Stephen A.D.'s in there, a couple other folks. I should have written down all the different artists that were going to be there, but I forgot to do that. But it's going to be a massive album, probably going to be a long premiere that we're going to be hosting. But another thing that you should note is that this is going to be on January 1st. That's right, New Year. We're going to be hosting it at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, hoping to get some new interviews on there and all that kind of jazz. So, hope that you tune in there. Sham, we've got a minute left in our news. You want to talk about Ponies the Anthology? Oh, Shamrock!
Yeah. So, basically, we're breaking up a little bit.
Go for it! Let's go!
Okay, we're going. We're doing it live. The company Rainbow Power is releasing Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash Zoom, and Go toys. Molded and brushable main option. These particular toys will have and flap their wings if applicable to what you actually get. Unfortunately, they still have that iconic and creepy Gen 1 face, so we're not really super good about that. But it's cool. It's cool.
It's toys. They're fucking creepy. And that's all we got for you, folks. We'll be right back.
like to party?
Yeah.
Do you like to eat sugary
You know it.
Well, what are you waiting for? Come on down to Sugar Cube Corner. We've got the largest selection of diabetes-inducing treats this side of the galaxy. You know how big the galaxy is? Really fucking big.
Wowzers.
That's right. We've got cookies, cakes, donuts, eclairs, strudels, cupcakes, flatbreads, and much, much more.
Jesus
So
Christ.
get your flat down here, you junkie sad sack, and eat your troubles away. Only at Sugar Cube Corner. Warning, cupcakes may contain trace amounts of pony flesh.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real Men of Genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Over-the-Top Brony Guy.
Mr. Over-the-Top Brony Guy.
You don't care that the show is designed for 5-year-old girls. You've watched every episode.
I love you, Fluttershy.
Your new neighbor just moved in from Soviet Russia. What would Pinkie Pie do?
Communist Party.
We're not whining about Master Link X's channel being taken down. We're complaining. This is whining.
Please make it stop.
So crack open a tall, cold one, Mr. Over-the-Top Brony Guy. Because without you, Rainbow Dash would still be a heterosexual.
Mr. Over-the-Top Brony Guy.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
If you don't have to use your traditional Royal Canterlot voice, the radio isn't turned up loud enough. Celestia Radio. All pony, all the time.
What we gonna do? Gotta bully it until we gotta hide, we gotta bail.
right, and welcome back to Canterlot Cross-Fade. I am your host, DJ Shamrock, of course, with other host DJK Brony, right here on Celestia Radio, having a super good time talking to you folks about a whole bunch of kinds of shit, and mostly Celestia Radio history, we hope. So part 2, I guess, is how I would phrase that. Part 2 of part 3. Here we go.
Of episode 7.
Episode 7.
How many more numbers can we throw at them to confuse them?
I really don't know.
December.
1918 is what my thing says we're starting at. Anyway, the show is 2 hours, which is 120 minutes, and blah, whatever. I'm done with that. So, we have been talking about a lot of things in this episode. And, of course, that song, which I forgot to talk about, Bullies and Best Friends by Prince Whatever. Go fucking check it out. He's a cool guy. Or girl. I don't know.
He's a guy.
It's a guy. Yeah. Go check it out. Bullies and Best Friends. We always have some pretty cool music to play here, of course, every week on Canterlot Cross-Fade. We featured 2 of the week's up-and-coming amazing new songs. We got to at least mix in a little bit of music, with the show to keep things radio-related, at least for Celestia Radio. And most of the time, for the show, we like to do, of course, our weather and news segments. We love it. We love having a main topic to talk about. And usually during this time, we'd have interviews or call-ins and stuff like that. But for our little, 3-part series, we've decided to just fucking straight up talk.
For the sake of trying to keep this 3-parter a 3-parter and not making 4 parts, we're going to bypass the call-ins and interview this week. Next week, that'll be back.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So we've been talking a lot about the end of the so-called media wars and things calming down and everybody, things becoming equal, seeing this lovely paradise of
Kansas,
free press and shit, and awesome stuff, and it's been, dare I say, a lot less stressful to just basically give no fucks.
As is shown in the fandom graph of time over enjoyment, the blissful nirvana state of I no longer give a fuck, which is the highest point of the bar graph of continuity.
It's true.
And change.
After a certain amount of time, you just say, you know what? I'm not going to allow this to bother me anymore, because really, it means nothing to me, and so I give no fucks, and am going to just do my thing, and really, that's how you should go at life. Life lesson number 1 from DJ Shamrock: give no fucks, the end. That's the only rule you need. Carry on. Keep on keeping on. We talked a little bit. We haven't talked about Brony Fanfare yet. We haven't talked about Nightmare Nights Dallas yet. We talked a little bit about BronyCon very briefly. Had a ton of our people there. Did a great job. And of course, Midwest Brony Fest, we always do stuff there. Going into that sort of period, during that time, a little, pulling a little bit back from talking about conventions, for CR, a lot of stuff happened during that time of the end of August, early September. Is that when that was? I want to say.
Yeah.
When Void was here and then left.
Yeah, that's right. Because I left in late July, I want to say.
Yeah.
August. We'll go with that.
Yeah. Had to make it back for that for the good old concert.
Yeah. That was fun.
But that was it was fun. I'm actually literally checking my phone because I have certain messages that I know when I received it was a certain instance in CR history.
I choose to use the YouTube. I look at videos like, oh shit, that's when I did that thing and uploaded it. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
well,
but phones work too.
Yeah. So basically, what ends up happening is end of August, going into September, coming out of sort of the summer season. Most of the conventions have happened. Of course, we still have Brony Fanfare early September, but we took a step back, and we realized that there were some things we wanted to change, some things we wanted to work on, and we had sort of an overhaul as far as the staff, which we had just the year before, actually getting a bunch of staff, and this time it was more like getting rid of a bunch of staff. And it was also a promotion time for a lot of people. We had some moving around internally for some stuff. Basically just a lot of internal stuff we had to do for the staff itself. I think we added some new IRC mods around that time. Dibby ended up becoming a mod at that point. Zenpower as well, I think. I want to say.
I don't keep up with IRC mods. I'll be completely honest.
I usually
that's
don't.
The last thing on my fucking mind.
Those two I actually, knew and knew to be good folks that were with us for a long time. Dibby, of course, been with us since the beginning, pretty much, at least since when I started. And had, of course, the famous boxing match.
Speaking of Dibby, he is moderating the shit out of the chat right now.
Damn straight.
I will burn your things. Good job, Dibby. Promotion. Not really.
Good job. Promotion to IRC Mod 2.0, whatever the fuck that means. But yeah, so, we did a lot of that stuff. During that first initial sort of shift, we placed you sort of as PR head. We pulled Lauren back and sort of said, we really need someone that's here 24/7. Of course, she's still on with us as far as making up big old blurbs anytime we need something or something catastrophic happens. Hopefully, you'll never have to see Lauren write anything, because usually that means something bad has happened. But, KB, of course, has said, hell yeah, I'll do PR stuff. And so he's been sort of our social media guy for the most part. And other stuff that happened, Void, we put in charge of technical radio stuff. QCOM took a step back to focus on school. He's not he's not a director anymore. And then Cider was the choice that we had, our lovely Australian, to put in charge of programming for radio at the time. And Thorlane took over doing TV production side stuff, technical stuff, because really up until this point, Canterlot TV just really wasn't cutting it for what we wanted. In Allegro, we put in charge doing programming, directing. Some headway has been made in that direction. We're hoping for a lot more very soon. I know Thorlane's been cracking the whip again recently, getting sort of in the YouTube pages. So if you see anything moved around, you see some re-tagging, a bunch of stuff or archiving, we're going over with. One of the other things is that we promoted Techie Junk, who Void knows, to our head of IRC. Landon had been, sort of running the IRC way back when I don't even fucking remember when the hell that was. But
that was like 8 months ago when he called himself Yahweh.
He basically did it, and then very soon after, I think within months, he left again, permanently that time. And
the CR staff chat got into politics, and sometimes people's feelings get hurt and they quit. So that was how Landon left.
Yeah, the great re-election of 2012. Jesus Christ, shit hit the fan. We have some very divided, or we had some very divided viewpoints, but I think most of those have gone. It's like any organization, politics, it happens. Fortunately, for the most part, we have external politics and not really internal politics, but sometimes it does happen, and so we had to move some people around. And Plow at the time was still doing general managing for us, and PHP was still my co-admin, co-owner for the website. And so that all happened. A lot of shifts were happening. Tensions were definitely high because, with lots of change comes lots of, not wanting to, wanting to stay traditional, stay true to what we've been. And you have this sort of difficulty trying to, coordinate the differences between, well, what parts of ourselves do we want to keep and what stuff do we want to change? Because you can't have both. You gotta, for one to happen, another one has to give. So,
unfortunately,
it's a very
like the Mexican
direct...
girl taco commercial, you cannot have both in that situation.
It's true. It's true. It's sort of like, you can't have fried chicken and grilled chicken. I fucking can't do it.
I've tried. Believe me.
I try. It can't happen. But it was a thing, and at the time we decided, all right, let's kick all the staff that are not fucking doing anything. I took over the reins again, and I said, all right, convention season is pretty much over now. You can always tell when shifts in CR happen because it basically means I'm done going to conventions for the year, and I get to sit back and go, okay, let's do stuff now. And it's pretty much been how it's been. So we sat back down, we decided to do some stuff. I pounded out some really regulated, specific stuff that I wanted to see from our directors. For the most part, that's been done. Of course, you always have to stay on it. Sort of like we have to stay on Canterlot Cross-Fade. You got to stay on top of people as far as the internal politics are concerned and be like, all right, get your shit done. I want it to happen. There's so many things that just, and in part it's because it's a volunteer organization, you can't really make people do stuff, but, you can't expect them to use it like a 9-to-5 because they're not getting paid. We're a completely non-profit organization, and, we give a lot to charity, so there's not a lot of money to run off of. In fact, most months I pay out of pocket to run everything. So, we all we take is donation, and it goes straight to paying for website. That's pretty much the stuff. So we did all that, had some good times, and then Brony Fanfare rolled around, which was first week of September, second week of September. I don't fucking remember.
September. I don't remember either.
It was in September.
I'm enjoying the chat at this moment. I'm half here.
I really wish I could be. Unfortunately, I'm the one talking right now. So
just keep going for it. I'll fill you in later because it's really entertaining right now, and I might actually get to moderate something. Maybe.
Okay, that's fantastic. I really miss being able to do stuff like that. One thing I saw just now. CR is in CR from that guy with the glasses. I can't tell you how many times I've told people about CR, and the first thing I hear is about the fucking guy with the glasses, right? It's pretty funny. It's just like, whatever. But of course, the dinging sound from IRC is not something I enjoy hearing either. But, so basically, Brony Fanfare, second year doing it this year, was better. It was definitely better than the first year. KB remembers the first year very well. And we were there. We got to do our music. I actually, at this Brony Fanfare that we did, I got to run the dances. CR was in charge of doing the dances. It was sort of a last-minute thing. God damn you, Peter,
Shamrock,
for
have
that.
you ever DJ'd a live dance before in your life?
I haven't. Never.
It's pretty fucking fun.
I was surprised. I'll have to go back and find the video from that because I don't remember. I know PVL's got it up on their thing, I think. Because PVL was doing the actual like streaming and CR did like the dance and stuff. You know, stuff that we do. Stuff that we're good at. So I did like a 3-hour long dance, I want to say it was. Holy shit. Took a ton out of me, I tell you what. I had to like chug a 5-hour before I did it. I was going on like 3 hours of sleep, and the drinking party was right the fuck after it. I mean, holy shit, talk about taking me out. It was fun though. I enjoyed it. People were energetic. If it wasn't for the people that were there, it wouldn't have been nearly as fun. You know, it was a solid fucking 3 hours of just continuous music. And the funniest thing was, you know, basically Peter said, hey, I need 3 things from you. I need you to do the dances on both these nights. I need some music for, you know, some non-talking music for the walk. Cocksucker. What is that thing called? I wanted to call it the fursuit parade. God help me. That is not it. The cosplay contest was what it was.
The fursuit parade.
It's just, that's what it's called at furry conventions. It's not a cosplay thing. It's a fursuit parade. But yeah, it's basically the same thing. For the cosplay contest, he's like, give me some cool, like, you know, sort of upbeat, classical model runway style shit. And I was like, all right. And then he's like, and also for the guests of honor dinner, which I was at, I want us to have, you know, some very chill. He fucking told me, he's like, hey, can I get some, you know, like jazz, you know, like club, some jazz, like lounge music? And I was like, Peter, you realize we do pony music, right? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, do you understand how much jazz fucking lounge ass music there is in the pony fandom? Like, pretty much none. And so instead, my good friend's down there with a group called Edit That Out. It's a podcast. Go check that out, by the way. Edit That Out. It's a pretty cool podcast. Maybe someday we'll bring them on CR. But it's a bunch of my Texas friends do it, mostly in the Austin area, and became really good friends with them over the course of the last year or so. A lot of them are involved with the pony drinking folks over at BerryTube. Tux, one of my good friends down there, is with that, and a new good friend, Sebastian, is a pretty cool guy, and he was down there, and I said, hey, Seb, I was like, dude, I'm going to fucking die. I have to do this party. I have all this fucking booze I have to go buy, food, this tailgate. I have to fucking do this 3-hour goddamn fucking dance thing tonight. I was like, can you please just get me something I can use for this music? He's like, I got it. Cowboy Bebop. I was like, fucking perfect. So he gives me this fucking thing of Cowboy Bebop music, and goddamn if we don't play that during the guest of honor dinner with fucking all of us and Sam Vincent and fucking Matt Hill down there. It was fun. It was fun. But yeah, the dance went off pretty well. Drinking went off well. We had a fucking Raising Cane's chicken tailgate. 150 pieces of that shit.
Oh my
was
god.
Like yeah, dude. Yeah, I went fucking balls to the wall. It was like $120, I want to say.
Was it fried or was it grilled?
Fried fucking chicken. God damn it! This is the South. You gotta be kidding me. Like we had a gallon of cane sauce came with it. Fuck yeah.
A whole gallon. Jesus Christ.
And we had like 40, 50 people in there. You know, everybody got like 3 or 4 chicken strips. It booze out the ass. You know, it was great. We had other snack stuff, I think, too. But, yeah, it was a good time. You know, Rena Chan, a bunch of the VAs were there. Or the community people that I knew. Trying to think. Of course, EQD, they always come to parties and stuff that I run. Spazzy, my good friend, my other half, over at Derpy Who's News, he was there. And Shane, of course, my good man Shane, Mr. Catalyst over on Twitter. If you ever see any stuff by Catalyst, he retweets a lot of our stuff. Great guy. He also works in sort of the IT networking field like I do now, and we get to talk a lot of shit on stupid people. It's fun. Yeah, you know, we just we keep on keeping on, and we keep doing those parties and keep having a good time, and it's a lot of fun. So you know, Brony Fanfare, great stuff. We enjoy doing it. Peter, although often scatterbrained and kind of crazy, he likes us, and you know what? I can put up with that. So he always invites us back, and of course, the my favorite thing that I look forward to the most the entire year is to go to Brony Fanfare and do the Guest Uncensored panel. That is my favorite goddamn fucking thing. That is my one joy left in life, is to go and talk about fucking dicks and and vaginas and fucking shit stack and goddamn fucking assholes. Like, that's my favorite fucking thing. Actually, you know, one of the fun things at Brony Fanfare was the amount of shit that I got to talk about the beard in my shillelagh. Like, I can't tell you how much,
tell the whole
like,
story
fucking
of the shillelagh history, like,
yeah, like sort of
walking
all of
stick,
this,
but melted down lead balls to beat the shit out of the fucking out of the British and all that fun jazz.
Well, you know, it's always interesting because that stuff, you know, the real history behind actual shillelaghs versus the shamrock history of this most blown out of proportion meta fandom. What the fuck even? Because I literally had people there from last Brony Fanfare that remember the shillelagh. They fucking remember the beard, and they just kind of ran with this whole idea that the shillelagh was a part of the, you know, Yggdrasil tree, and when it was formed, we ripped it off and killed an entire verse of people in the process to make it. It was just one of the branches, and you know, originally there were 10 universes, 10 worlds. Now there's only 9. You know, just all of this shit that happened, and really just was absolutely crazy. You know, it got blown out of proportion, and just holy shit. I've literally had a solid, I want to say like 3 or 4 hours of material talking literally about the fucking beard in this goddamn shillelagh. I don't know what to say.
Well, that's pretty much your background, so that's
pretty
all they
much
need to know about you, really. I mean,
it's like
DJ...
I'm Irish. Here is my beard.
Here's my magic walking stick.
It was a riot, dude. Yeah, that whole fucking convention, dude. I love it. We keep going back, even though it's kind of a crazy, you know, it can be hectic at times. People get crammed in there. It's fun because the people make it fun, and they enjoy having us there. I mean, our room was packed. I loved it. I had a huge audience down there for CR history and stuff, and for the Guest Uncensored panel. God damn it, we had it in a full fucking room, and I'll be damned if that goddamn room was not fucking packed.
Beautiful.
Packed fucking full. Several hundred people. And I was pleased. I was very pleased. We were in one of the main event rooms and for that, and a solid 2-hour-long panel. God help us. Talking about dicks and vaginas and whatever else we could think of. A lot of talk about bestiality. An uncomfortable amount of discussion about bestiality happened. And what else? What else can I think of? Yeah.
We go down this path.
we had.
I mean, it's really no worse than the year I was there. That topic that my little Dashi brought up. That was.
That broke the mold, but second year of Brony Fanfare took it to a whole nother level. Like, I think it was just solid goodness. You know, the first year was just kind of Reed and I, and everybody else was awkward and didn't really want to talk about it. And Reed and I were like, yeah, fuck the dicks and vaginas, and fuck you, and fuck you, and fuck you, and, you know, all this stuff. And then, you know, this year Rena was much more into it. She was actually looking forward to it now that she knew what to expect.
She also wasn't sick as shit. I mean, remember last year she was all sick and like crawled up in the corner. Like,
yeah, she wasn't feeling very well. unfortunately. But this year she was feeling good. Silver Eagle was there to propagate. I'm pretty sure, minus Rena and Reed, everyone else up on that panel was a furry. So there were no fucks given, to be honest. Between Silver and Paleo and me and fucking Swivel, it was just like, whatever. And Reed, of course, goddamn, I fucking love him. Nodus, he is sort of like the normal person amongst everyone that's there.
He is
but
our
he's
rock. He keeps us grounded.
He's sort of like a naive normal person. Like, you always get into these stories and it's like, people talking about all this crazy fucked up shit and, who would you fuck and all of this stuff. And, Reed is the one who's like, oh yeah, Baywatch. And we're all like, look over at him like, are you fucking crazy? Like, normal fucking female women, what are you? And, the kind of stuff that you would think, oh yeah, to a normal person, that's extreme. And you just sit back and go, wow, what has happened to my life?
Yeah.
Where have I...
If you could fuck anybody, who would you fuck? Maybe Pamela Anderson. What the fuck is wrong with you? She doesn't have fur.
Yeah, right? It's just, oh my god.
Where have we gone and what is happening?
When we got to I think some of the funniest moments during that video, and for certain reasons we don't like some of the folks. Rena, I know she'll do it live, but she doesn't like to have her stuff on the internet that she says during these things, and for the sake of a lot of people, their public image, we don't put it up on YouTube live for people to see. You basically have to go straight to Brony Fanfare. Now I've got the fucking hiccups.
That's your incentive to actually go to a convention instead of just going, I'll watch
straight
on
up
the live stream.
We will make you love that convention. If you go to Brony Fanfare, I swear to God, you will not regret it. I will make you have a good time. Come and find me. We'll fucking have a great time. Go party, shit like that, and just rock star it. You know what I mean? And just a great time. It's always the funniest moments during that thing were like, or one of the funniest moments. You get so into it and you just start yelling about and fucking laughing your ass off at this stuff that we say, and some of the shit that people ask us, and then rebuts and all of this stuff, and then you get to the point where I say something like, someone's we're talking about like who would you fuck, and then someone said like Luna on the panel, and I was like, oh yeah, she's another one. I would fucking rail her. And it's just like at that point you're just kind of like, wow, this is what we've become, like just like, Jesus Christ, what are we even doing anymore? But that's Brony Fanfare in a fucking nutshell. Really
so what happened
epic.
After that? I mean, we're getting close. We have like 7 minutes to do.
Right. So
what else happened?
So basically, Brony Fanfare, all of that stuff. A lot of CRs reforming and stuff. Happened right before that. We had a lot more. The website design. We God help us. A lot of stuff centered around the website happened, and it started off, sort of like, all right, well, let's commit. Let's try and do a redesign. We've had the other website for about a year now, and it's time to get a fresh new look, a fresh new perspective for Canterlot TV for people to come in and sort of do stuff. Basically, we wanted to get the site redesigned as quickly as possible and get some ideas drawn up. We had a graphics department at this point, which was really super good. We were able to we were going to be able to showcase, oh, look, Canterlot TV, brand new kind of thing. We're sort of branding it, reestablishing it. Honestly, it just didn't really happen as quickly and as fervently as we wanted it to. And one of the downsides to that is that October rolls around, the very beginning of October, the first week. Lots of stuff's happening. Tensions have been high, trying to get the staff on track to organize everybody together. Directors are starting to fully take over their positions now. And I think the tension as far as trying to get the website done when no one is listening, and a lot of just internal drama going on, happened to crack. One of my very good friends, for a long time now, and unfortunately ended up in PH Pony, the co-owner at the time, and our web dev leaving Celestia Radio. It wasn't really, and it's something that I think most of the public still doesn't know about, or they haven't heard the full details about yet. And I could spend a lot of time talking about it. I don't really want to because, it's kind of one of those things that's still a little bit fresh, you know what I mean? The main thing to know is that for one reason or another, PHP basically hung up the towel and said, it's just not fun anymore, which I get. There's been times both you and I, KB, have said, this is getting tough to keep doing, more than once. But I've been here for 2.5 years. I don't foresee myself stopping anytime soon. I think it's just in my nature to not want to give up. And I think PHP, unfortunately, stayed on as long as it could. And, another thing is he really doesn't get a lot of credit for stuff that he does. I always try and, mention him but he's always been the silent, co-owner. And he never really wanted to be in the spotlight. It just kind of got to the point where the workload outweighed the fun. And we had great memories of, times long gone. And I know he'll cherish those, and I will too. But it was he just needed to leave for his own sake, and it happened. So that was pretty much that. And with that, we went into a whole nother redesign sort of the staff, shifted some folks around. Cider had to take a few months off to focus on his studies. KB, of course, now back in the position of programming director for hopefully not much longer, now that Cider's back. And we also moved Plow sort of down to, or not down to, but over to a technical administrator perspective, combination of looking over a bunch of different aspects of the technical side of the radio station, and KB going to be sort of taking over running the general manager side of things. So of course an official congrats to you for that, and I know the fucking workload is going to be crazy, but at least you won't have to deal with overseeing the radio station side of things, right?
I mean, I always will. That's just part of being a DJ, being the oldest DJ, more or less. So,
but you won't have to kick the staff in the ass. You'll be kicking
I can
kick
other
the directors
people
in the ass
to make their shit work. So thank you for the official congratulations, and also it's good to get that. Calling it dirty laundry is the worst word, because it's not. We truly miss PHP. He didn't leave on bad terms. It was just time for him to move on. And I got a lot of props to the guy when he no longer enjoyed it and he left for his own health. So hopefully whatever he's doing right now, he's enjoying it. And that was kind of, that's why the Ponify.me address switched. That was kind of the underlying reasoning for that.
Yeah, it changed to Celestia Radio. We were able to get that domain. It was originally Ponify.me because Celestia Radio's domain was taken at the time. But, hell, fucking 2 years later, and we managed to grab it. So we're keeping it.
Yep, so we're going to be at CelestiaRadio.com. You can always find us there. With that, we're going to swing on to our last commercial break, and then we're going to try to wrap things up here in CCF Episode 7. We'll talk about next week a bit if we have time. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey there, bronies. Need someone to talk to about your love troubles? Then listen to Lauren Goodnight and Stephanie Keir on 8-Bit Sex every Friday night at 10 Eastern on Celestia Radio. We'll take your frown and turn it up.
Hi, Jeff Burgess here. I'm in a bit of a sword fight at the moment, but I wanted to let you know that you're listening to the greatest radio stream on the high seas, Celestia Radio. You can listen to it anywhere, 24 hours a day, even if you're on a pirate ship during a sword fight. Yarr!
All right, short commercial break there. We are back to wrap up episode 7 of Canterlot Cross-Fade, of course, with this original air date of December 8th, 2013, being recorded live on Celestia Radio, but hopefully you might be listening to this as a recording as well. Either way, great to have you listening into the show. Thank you so much for sticking it out for these 2 hours with us. And we're going to wrap things up as quickly as we can. We covered sort of the website shift, a little bit of staff rearrangement, and now we're right here, more or less. So, Sham, what are your opinions on right now and where we might be going?
Well, with a little the shifts that happened, and of course we've got the website up now. Finally, we had a temporary site for the longest time. A lot of people I know were confused, wondering what was going on. So for the whole month of October, that was pretty much, and most of November, unfortunately. That's what happened. PHP ended up leaving, and we had to switch some things. It was a better time than ever to kick people in the ass and say, all right, well, let's get the site redesign done then if we're gonna. If we're sort of moving to a new thing. And Void, of course, taking back over for doing some website stuff for us as director of the website now. I'm the lone owner now. I no longer have a co-owner of the station, so I kind of cover everything. And I have I'm the last. Well, with PHP leaving, I'm the oldest person now at CR as far as length of stay. None of the original 3 people that started the station are around anymore, which is kind of a sad thing, but interesting to see how far we've come in this last 2.5 years that we've been going for. And I think it's a really cool note to sort of finish out on, because it's here is this huge history that we had with all of these people and the people we've seen and the faces that have graced us here at CR, and getting to see the end of this media conflict, which could very well be said to be a major part of CR's contribution to the fandom, and being involved in it, and seeing that over, seeing season 4, Ponies really isn't going anywhere. They're as strong as ever. The show is doing so well. It tops the charts on the Hub's rating system. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. And the fandom's intact. There's some great conventions to look forward to this next year. And I think with that really positive atmosphere of the fandom in general, it is going to reflect on us. Not only will it reflect on us, but we'll reflect back on it as well. So really look forward to some cool stuff in the works. I can't say really too much. Of course, we can't say too much, but some interesting things with Brony State possibly in the future. And as well, Canterlot TV. Keep your eyes peeled on the Celestia Radio website. I can't promise when, but I can promise in the near future some really interesting stuff to happen on the video front. So we can't wait to get really into that. And of course, conventions, Nightmare Nights Dallas ended us extremely well for 2013. 2014, it's going to be really interesting. We got some cool conventions lined up. Hopefully we see another year of Nightmare Nights Dallas Brony Fanfare. Of course, their 3rd year. I can't wait for it. We're going to miss BronyCon if all goes well, and you and I make it to Ireland, of course. Woohoo! And woohoo! Hell yeah, you'll miss us for about a month, guys, at some point in the summer.
Well, if we do go, then you will miss me indefinitely, but that's a whole nother story for a whole different day.
That is a whole nother story for a whole different day, which will maybe be revealed in the next week or so. Maybe.
No, by New Year's, we can release.
By New Year's, for sure, we'll have results for certain things. But the other thing is, one thing I did want to talk about, and I can't say too much about it, one, because I really don't have that many details, but two, because it's still sort of in the works, you know what I mean? There is a convention, maybe, planned in the works for the area of Chicago, possibly. Said convention may or may not be run by the Berry Tube people, who, of course, are well known for the MLP drinking game and lots of drinking and MLP. So look forward to more ideas from that sort of sway of things. You can trust that I'll definitely talk about it here on Canterlot Cross-Fade, which, by the way, every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, lasts for 2 hours. That's something like midnight, I think, GMT time, I believe, if I have my numbers right. And 2-hour-long show where we talk about all sorts of fucking crazy shit in this fandom and sometimes real life stuff, but not really. And that's going to be cool. The other thing is, of course, we talked about it in the news show. We got some awesome stuff planned for our New Year's sort of deal with our good man, Jeff Fafa. And can't wait to hear some of that. We are sort of still unsure if we're going to do our, famous 100 countdown. We think if we do it, KB and I surely will not be there.
Because combined, Shamrock and I have probably listened to 4, maybe 6 songs from 2013 successfully. And they're the ones that we play on this show. So last year I made, basically by myself, that list of 100 for 2012. This year I'm not even going to attempt because I will just piss so many people off. And while I love to do that, there's a time and a place, in the top 100 countdown is not. So we're going to ask some of our other DJs that have been playing music and taking your requests that actually know about the music that came out in 2013. They're going to be compiling our list if they're up to it. If not, then just look forward to the album premiere with Jeff Burgess, because that's going to be a hell of a time, and you definitely won't want to miss out on that. So we got something planned on New Year's, that's for sure. It's just whether or not we're going to have 2 things planned on New Year's. That's really the main question.
Yeah.
I definitely know if we do another countdown, we're not having QCOM for the final one, because 5, 4, here we go. QCOM, shut the fuck up.
It was just, Jesus.
Love you, QCOM, but
why?
Why?
It was so fucking ruined. But yeah, awesome stuff on that front. Can't wait. I mean, there's cool stuff in the works. There's always cool stuff in the works. Also, don't forget, every week, 30 minutes before Ponies airs, CR does their pre-show. I think we're still kind of maybe going to do that. For Ponies, we team up with Brony State as sort of this partnership that we do to broadcast the episode on CR. We do commentary. Brony State, of course, does the live streams. They always get between like 10 and 20K people. It's a fucking huge live stream thing on BronyState.net. That's every Saturday morning at 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central, I believe. And we do our post-show between 30 minutes and an hour long afterwards, right here on Celestia Radio and on Brony State, dual casted. And it's fucking awesome stuff. Don't miss that. Of course, never miss Canterlot Cross-Fade, like we said. It's 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time every Sunday night with DJK Brony and myself, DJ Shamrock. And of course, coming up right up next is Pixel Perfect Pony Show. I think I fucking said that right. Another 2-hour-long show. Don't miss it. It's coming up next, so don't forget to check us out on YouTube at Celestia Radio, as well as Twitter at Celestia Radio and Facebook, Celestia Radio. Check us out, CelestiaRadio.com. All pony, all the time.
This shit's divine. It's like the singing of fucking angels. Shouts out to Clever Pony. Shouts out to Pinkie Pie Swear for the beat. What up? Actually, I changed it a little bit. Yo, this joint's called, Pony Swag.
Did you enjoy the show? Want to catch even more batshit antics next week? Well, tune in next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another installment of Canterlot Cross-Fade with host DJK Brony and DJ Shamrock. Only here on Celestia Radio.